Hare Krishna. Welcome you all on our 90th episode book reading, and we are actually getting closer to it. So today we will be reading chapter 61, 62 and if possible 63 as well. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Vishesha Sunyavadi Paschati Desatarani. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So welcome you all again, and chapter 61 is Lord Balarāma slays Rukmī. So we know Rukmī is the brother of Rukmini, and already Rukmini has been now married to Lord Sri Krishna, and she is the topmost beloved one of Sri Krishna as well. So this chapter lists Lord Sri Krishna's sons, grandsons and other progeny. It also describes how Lord Balarāma killed Rukmī at Aniruddha's marriage ceremony and how Lord Krishna arranged for his son and daughters to be married. Not understanding the full truth about Sri Krishna, each of his wives thought that since he remained constantly in her palace, she must be his favorite wife. So they were all entranced by the Lord's beauty and his loving conversations with them, but they could not agitate his mind with the charming gestures of their eyebrows or by any other means. Having attained as their husband Lord Krishna, whom even demigods like Brahma find it difficult to know in truth, and the Lord's queen were always eager to associate with him. Thus, although each of them had hundreds of maidservants, they would personally render him menial service. So, see, here it is being said that everyone, they are thinking that they have been always being with Krishna. So, actually, Krishna expanded himself as many as of a wife, like 10,000, 16,108 wives. So, Krishna expanded himself as many as, and everyone thought that Krishna is actually with me. We have seen the same thing when Krishna has done Rasa Leela in Vrindavan. He expanded himself into as many gopis. So everyone thinks that Krishna is with me and they are the most beloved one. So each of the Lord Krishna's wives had 10 sons, who in turn each fathered many sons and grandsons. In the womb of Rukmī's daughter Rukmāvati, Pradyumna fathered Aniruddha. So though Sri Krishna has disrespected Rukmī, to please his sister Rukmī gave his daughter in marriage to Pradyumna and his granddaughter to Aniruddha. Bali, the son of Kritavarma, married Rukmini's daughters Charumati. So it's being said that Lord Krishna's from 16,108 wives, he begot 10 sons and one daughter from each of them. So you can imagine how long the dynasty has been grown now. And after that, they have more sons and grandsons as well. So at the Aniruddha's marriage, Lord Baladeva, Sri Krishna and other Yadavas went to Rukmī's palace in the city of Bhujakata. After the ceremony, Rukmī challenged Lord Balarāma to a game of dice, and in the first match Rukmī defeated Baladeva, whereupon the king of Kalinga laughed at the Lord, displaying all his teeth. Lord Baladeva won the next match, but Rukmī refused to concede defeat. A voice then spoke from the sky, announcing that Baladeva had in fact won. But Rukmī, encountered by the vexed king, offended Lord Balarāma by saying that while he was certainly expert in tending cows, he knew nothing of playing dice. So Rukmī actually insulting Lord Balarāma. So thus insulted Lord Baladeva angrily struck Rukmī dead with his club. So Rukmī, just by hitting by the club of Lord Balarāma, Rukmī got dead. So the king of Kalinga tried to flee, but Lord Baladeva seized him and knocked out all his teeth as well. So then the other offensive kings, their arms, thighs and heads wounded by Baladeva's blows, fled in all directions bleeding profusely Then Sri Krishna expressed neither approval nor disapproval of his brother-in-law's death, fearing he would jeopardize his loving ties with either Rukmini or Baladeva. So he became neutral because Baladeva is his brother, Rukmini is his wife. So he became neutral. So Lord Baladeva and other Yadavas then seated Aniruddha and his bride on the fine chariot, and they all set off for Dwarika. So this is how you see how Aniruddha got married. And chapter number 62, that says the meeting of Usha and Aniruddha. This chapter recounts the meeting of Aniruddha and Usha and also Aniruddha's battle with Bāṇāsura. So one of the 100 sons of King Bali, the oldest was Bāṇāsura. He was a great devotee of Lord Shiva who favored Bāṇa so much that even demigods like Indra would serve him. So Bāṇāsura once satisfied Shiva by playing musical instrument with his 1000th hand, while Shiva danced his Tandava Nritya. In response, Shiva offered Bāṇa whatever benediction he chose, and Bāṇa asked Shiva to become the guardian of his city. So one day when Bāṇa was feeling an urge to do battle, he told Lord Shiva, "Except for you in the whole world, there is no warrior stronger enough to fight me. So therefore, these 1,000 arms you have given me merely a heavy burden." So angered by these words, Lord Shiva replied, "Your pride will crush in the battle when you meet my equal. Indeed, your chariot flag will fall to the ground broken." So the thing is that here to understand that the people who are in demonic of nature, when they get some boon from higher authority or from the demigods or from gods, they become proud. But on the similar hand, when the devotees get boon from Lord, they appreciate it and they actually surrender more to them. Right. So Bāṇāsura's daughter Usha once had an encounter with a lover in her sleep. Several nights in a row this occurred until one night she failed to see him in her dreams. She suddenly woke up speaking aloud to him in a state of agitation, but when she noticed her maidservant around her, she felt embraced. So Usha's companion Chitralekha asked her who she had been addressing, and Usha told her everything. Hearing of Usha's dream lover, Chitralekha tried to relieve her friend's distress by drawing a picture of Gandharvas and other celestial personalities, as well as various men of Vrishni dynasty. So Chitralekha asked Usha to pick out the man she had seen in her dreams, and Usha pointed to the picture of Aniruddha. Chitralekha, who had mystic powers, knew at once that the young man her friend had pointed out was Lord Sri Krishna's grandson Aniruddha. Then, using her mystic powers, Chitralekha flew through the sky of Dwarika, found Aniruddha and brought him back with her to Sonitapura, Bāṇāsura's capital. There she presented him to Usha. Actually, it's a very nice story of Aniruddha and meeting of Usas. They got dream and they met each other. In the similar way, it was a dream, and then the Chitralekha, she could carve the painting of Aniruddha, and Usha chose that picture to be of Aniruddha, and she said, "Okay, this is the one actually I'm looking on my dream." And Chitralekha is actually, she was to be a servant of Mother Parvati. So because of some curse, she has to come down to this material world. But she knew all the mystic powers, and then that's how she could actually, she went to Dwarika and actually kidnapped Aniruddha and bring back to her to the palace of Bāṇāsura. Having obtained the man of her desires, Usha began serving him very affectionately within her private quarters, which were supposed to be strictly off limits to man. After some time, the female guards of the inner palace noticed symptoms of sexual activities on Usa's persons, and they went to Bāṇāsura to inform him. So greatly disturbed, Bāṇāsura rushed to his daughter's apartment with many armed guards, and to his great surprise saw Aniruddha there. As the guards attacked him, Aniruddha took up his club and succeeded in killing a few before powerful Bana could capture him with his mystic Nagapasha ropes, filling Usa with lamentation. So somehow the Bāṇāsura got to know that Aniruddha is there in his palace, and they have got married as well. And somehow, because the Bāṇāsura was so much powerful as well, she could somehow catch both. To Chitralekha, he bound Chitralekha as well as Aniruddha and as well as Usha. So three of them, they got bound by Nagapasha, and now Lord Kṛṣṇa has to come up to release them. So that's chapter 63, which says Lord Kṛṣṇa fights with Bāṇāsura. So when Aniruddha did not return from Sonitapur, his family and friends passed for 4 months of rainy season in extreme distress. When they finally heard from Narada Muni how Aniruddha had been captured, a large army of the best Yadavas warrior under Krishna's protection set off for Bāṇāsura's capital and laid siege to it. So Bāṇāsura fiercely opposed them with his own army of equal size. To help Bāṇāsura, Lord Shiva, accompanied by Kartikeya and a horde of mystic sages, took up arms against Balarāma and Kṛṣṇa. Bāṇā began fighting against Satyaki, and Bāṇā's sons fought against Shambha. All the demigods assembled in the sky to witness the battle. With his arrows, Lord Kṛṣṇa harassed the followers of Lord Shiva, and by putting Lord Shiva into a state of confusion, he was able to destroy Bāṇāsura's army. Kartikeya was so strongly beaten by Pradyumna that he fled the battlefield, while the remnants of Bāṇāsura's army, harried by the blows of Lord Balarāma's club, scattered in all directions. Anxious to see his army's destructions, Bāṇāsura rushed Kṛṣṇa to attack him. But the Lord immediately killed Bāṇā's chariot driver and broke his chariot and bow. And then he sounded his Panchajanya counsels. So next, Bāṇāsura's mother, trying to save her son, appeared naked in front of Lord Kṛṣṇa, who averted his face to avoid looking at her. Seeing his chance, Bāṇā fled into his city. After Lord Kṛṣṇa has thoroughly defeated the ghost and the hoblings fighting under Lord Shiva, the Shivajanya weapon, a personification of fever with 3 heads and 3 legs, approached Lord Kṛṣṇa to fight him. Seeing the Shiva Jwara, Kṛṣṇa released his Vishnu Jwara. The Shiva Jwara was overwhelmed by the Vishnu Jwara, having nowhere else to turn for shelter. So the Shiva Jwara began to address Lord Kṛṣṇa, glorifying him and asking for mercy. So Lord Kṛṣṇa was pleased with the Shiva Jwara, and then after the Lord had promised him freedom from fear, the Shiva Jwara bowed down to him and departed. So next, Bāṇāsura returned and attacked Lord Kṛṣṇa again, wielding all kinds of weapons in his 1,000 hands. But Lord Kṛṣṇa took his Sudarshan disc and began cutting off all the demons' arms. So Lord Shiva approached Kṛṣṇa to pray for Bāṇāsura's life. And when the Lord agreed to spare him, he spoke as follows to Shiva: Bāṇāsura does not deserve to die. Since he was born in the family of Prahlad Maharaj, I have severed all but 4 arms of just to destroy his false pride. And I have annihilated his army because they were the burden on the earth. Henceforth he will be free from old age and death, and remaining fearless in all circumstances, he will be one of your principal attendants. So actually Bāṇāsura was somehow, Lord Shiva has given a boon to Bāṇāsura, and also he is told that you are like my son. So that's why Kṛṣṇa, and even Kṛṣṇa told that you have been in this, like Bāṇāsura is in the family of Prahlad Maharaj, so he didn't want to kill him. However, he wanted to destroy his pride and arrogance, and he actually cut down all his arms as well. He just left with 2 or 4. And at the end, by the request, and Lord Shiva came in the middle of the war, and then he requested Kṛṣṇa not to kill him, and then Kṛṣṇa gave his life to be there, and and then Bāṇāsura actually gave Usha to Aniruddha. So assured he had nothing to fear, Bāṇāsura then offered his obeisance to Lord Kṛṣṇa and had Usha and Aniruddha seated on their wedding chariot and brought before the Lord. So Kṛṣṇa then set off for Dwarika with Aniruddha and his bride leading the procession. When the newlyweds arrived at the Lord's capital, they were honored by the citizens and the Lord's relatives and the Brahmanas. So this is how we see an interesting story of a marriage of Aniruddha and Usha. So in the dream they both saw each other, and then Narada Muni actually played a very great role in this pastime of Kṛṣṇa. And this is how we end chapter 63 and today's discussion as well. Any questions are welcome on the comments, and I'll try to answer in our next video. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.